Something happened last week that most news channels completely ignored. A single sentence delivered quietly through back channels. And that sentence may have just changed the rules of every conflict on Earth. I'm going to tell you exactly what was said, who said it, and why it terrifies people at the highest levels of the American government. But I need you to stay with me until the very end of this video, because the full meaning of what happened, the real reason this warning is different from every warning China has ever sent before, that reveal comes last. And when you hear it, you will understand why the world you wake up to tomorrow is not the same world you went to sleep in yesterday. Before we go any further, quick question for you. Where in the world are you watching this right now? Drop your country in the comments. I want to see how far this is reaching, because what I'm about to tell you affects every single one of you, no matter where you live. Now, let's go back to the beginning. For the past 4 decades, China has played a very specific game on the world stage. Grow quietly, build slowly, never poke the bear directly. While America fought wars in the Middle East, China built factories. While America spent trillions on military operations overseas, China built ports, roads, and trade networks across 3 continents. While American politicians argued on television, Chinese engineers were laying fiber cables under the ocean floor, connecting Beijing to the world. China's strategy was patience, calculated, disciplined, almost surgical patience. And it worked. China became the second largest economy on Earth. China built a navy that now rivals American presence in the Pacific. China developed technology that competes directly with Silicon Valley. But here is the one weakness China could never solve, the one vulnerability that kept Chinese leadership awake at night, year after year, decade after decade. Energy. China needs oil, enormous quantities of it. Every factory, every highway, every cargo ship, every military vehicle in China runs on imported petroleum. And roughly 40% of that petroleum travels through a single narrow strip of water in the Persian Gulf. 40%. If that water closes, China does not slow down. China does not stumble. China stops. Hospitals lose backup power, manufacturing freezes, supply chains for food collapse within weeks. This is not an inconvenience. This is the kind of threat that forces governments to make decisions they would never make under normal circumstances. And right now, that strip of water is in the middle of the most dangerous military standoff the region has seen in a generation. So China had a choice: stay quiet, watch, and hope for the best, or speak. China chose to speak. Now here is where it gets important, because China has issued warnings before. In 2001, after the spy plane incident over the South China Sea, China issued warnings. In 2003, when America invaded Iraq and Chinese oil shipments were disrupted, China issued warnings. In 2022, when Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan, China issued warnings. Every single time, the world watched, noted it, and moved on. American policy continued. Chinese rhetoric faded. The status quo held. So when Chinese officials sent a message to Washington recently, the first instinct in most Western newsrooms was exactly that: note it, file it, move on. But something was different this time. And I need you to pay close attention here, because the difference is not in the words themselves. The difference is in what surrounds the words. 3 things have changed that make this warning unlike anything China has sent before. First, China's economy is under pressure in a way it has not been in 30 years. Growth is slowing. Youth unemployment is high. The real estate sector is still fragile. The Chinese government cannot afford an energy disruption right now. This is not a situation where China can absorb the hit and wait it out diplomatically. The domestic pressure to act is enormous. Second, China has just completed military and logistical infrastructure in the region that it did not have before. Refueling capabilities, naval coordination agreements, satellite coverage. China is not warning from weakness anymore. China is warning from a position where it can actually follow through. Third, and this is the one that nobody is talking about, China's warning this time was not delivered through normal diplomatic channels. It was not a press conference. It was not a foreign ministry statement designed for public consumption. It was a direct, private communication to American officials, precise, unambiguous, delivered at a level that signals this is not performative. This is operational. When China sends public warnings, it is often posturing, managing domestic audiences, showing strength for the cameras. When China sends private warnings, it means China has already decided something internally and is giving the other side one final opportunity to change course. That distinction is everything. And the message inside that private communication, the exact nature of what China said it would do, and why that specific threat is something the American military has no clean answer for, that is what I promised you at the beginning, and we are almost there. Here is what China actually communicated. Not a threat of economic retaliation, not a vague promise of consequences, not a diplomatic protest that gets filed and forgotten. China told American officials that if the current disruption to Gulf energy continues beyond a specific threshold, China will establish what it called a protected corridor. A physical, naval, military-enforced lane through which Chinese-flagged energy tankers will continue to move, regardless of any other military activity in the region. In plain language, China is saying it will send warships into an active conflict zone to escort its own oil supply home. And here is why that changes everything. It forces a decision that America has never had to make before. If American forces are conducting operations in the Gulf and Chinese naval vessels enter that same space under a protection mandate, America faces a choice with no good options. Back down and let them through, and every adversary on Earth watches America yield to Chinese military assertion in real time. Challenge them and risk a direct incident between the two most powerful militaries on Earth in a narrow body of water during an already active conflict. There is no third option. There is no clever diplomatic maneuver that makes this choice disappear. That is why this warning is different. Every previous Chinese warning gave America room to maneuver, room to negotiate, room to save face and find a middle path. This one does not. China has essentially said, our ships are coming through. The only question is whether your ships get out of the way. And the reason that sentence is the most consequential thing spoken between these two powers in decades is this. For 30 years, American global dominance rested on one assumption, that no other power would physically contest American military presence in a critical zone. China is about to contest it, not with missiles launched from the other side of the world, not with cyber attacks or economic pressure that plays out over months, but with ships, with sailors, with flags, in the water, in the zone, right now. The era where America could act alone anywhere on Earth without calculating another great power's response is not ending, it has ended. And the question for you, the question I want you to sit with after this video is done, is not whether you think China is right or America is right. The question is, are you prepared for a world where two great powers are operating in direct physical proximity during a live conflict? Because that world is not coming, it is here. Drop your thoughts below. Do you think China follows through? Do you think America backs down? Or do you think we're watching the opening minutes of something much larger? Subscribe, because this story is moving fast, and the next development could change everything we just discussed.